Yo, what up? Hello, everybody. Welcome to Honey Badger Arcade. This is the Week in Culture. It's the live stream where I will be going through some of the most relevant culture war-oriented news items and basically, hopefully, bring some, different perspective to light. So, hit that like button for me if you could, chat, and welcome. I am once again doing this on Rumble Studio. I just seeing how good this tool is. I mean, so far it's been pretty decent, and I think that it is a great option for hosting your own streams. It works a lot like StreamYard, but it also allows you to use open broadcaster software, which is what I'm using to show this stream to you guys now, and it works very well with all of those tools. So could be it's a strong contender. They may end up charging for it in the future, I don't know, but yeah. So on Rumble Studio, that's why there was no notice for those of you guys who are watching on YouTube. Anyway, so give this video a like. And why am I throwing my eye? It's your face, bitch. Okay. All right, yeah. So anyway, yeah, please give me a subscribe and follow. Check out the Discord, it's in the description, and check out the Rumble channel. I think the Rumble channel is one that I'm gonna generally give priority to, because YouTube is not so great about the whole free speech thing, even though it is where everyone is at. And I think that if we change where everyone is at, then I think we can change the conversation. So anyway, without further ado, I know that there are people watching. First, let me get Jojo in his right place. Hey, Jojo, go to your bed. Go to your bed, buddy. Jojo, go to your bed. You see him? He just poked his head out. Jojo, go to your bed. Go to your bed. Come on. Jojo, go. Go to your bed. There you go. There you go. Good boy. There he is. All right. I know that Jojo's the only reason why you guys are here, so I have to make sure that he's in frame. Actually, a story related to dogs that we're going to be getting into in just a moment. But let us look at the stories for today. So first, this isn't new, but I haven't had a chance to talk about it a lot. So Avalanche Studios is closing their New York and Montreal branches, and they have laid off a large number of their staff. I think it's like 10%, 9% of their staff. And that doesn't sound like a lot, but that's a lot. Avalanche Studios has announced they're closing their New York and Montreal development studios amidst laying off around a portion of their staff. This is from Niche Gamer. Back when Gamergate started in 2014, Niche Gamer was one of the first websites that essentially emerged from that was trying to be a bit more fair. It was basically Niche Gamer and Tech Raptor were like the first two alternative gaming websites, or at least tech websites, that did not attack gamers. And Niche Gamer is kind of a big thing now. I think they're pretty mainstream at this point, and they are reporting on this story. So I just wanted to give credit to Niche Gamer. Shout out to those guys. After closing up their New York and Montreal studios, Avalanche only has branches remaining in Stockholm, Malmo, and Liverpool. Around 9% of their total staff were also laid off as part of the closures. Here's the full word from Avalanche, and I will read you guys the statement. Let me just say, holler at, pump my music up a teeny bit. Holler at Fracus Maximus. Get in there for a friend. Yes, Jojo is in there now. All right, so here is the statement from Niche Game, or from Avalanche. A statement from Avalanche Studios Group. Since its inception over 2 decades ago, Avalanche Studios Group has grown to encompass 5 locations worldwide: Stockholm, New York, Malmo, I hope I'm not butchering that pronunciation, Liverpool, and Montreal. Today, we regretfully announce the closure of 2 of those locations, New York and Montreal. This means we'll be parting ways with around 50 valued friends and colleagues, which represents roughly 9% of Avalanche's worldwide. This is an exceptionally difficult decision, but we believe it's necessary to ensure a stable and sustainable future for the company. Our focus is now on supporting all Avalanchers through this challenging time. We're grateful for the invaluable contributions of those leaving and remain committed to creating incredible gaming experiences for our players. Avalanche Studios Group. So, what could have caused this? What could have caused, and you guys know who Avalanche Studios is. They were the minds behind the Just Cause franchise. I played Just Cause 3 or 4, I think. That was a fun game. It was an interesting take on an open world game where you were like some kind of like, it was basically like playing a Latino James Bond if it was directed by Robert Rodriguez. Like, it was extremely over the top. You can like you had like a grapple arm and like these like a wingsuit thing where you can glide and you can basically destroy like almost everything in the environment. And I had fun playing it. Like it was actually really different. So yeah, Just Cause. I don't know if we're gonna see any more content from them. I know that they haven't shut down their whole studio, but excuse me. But yeah, it's definitely having an impact. The other game that Avalanche Studios made, which actually hurts more in the gut for me, is the Mad Max game. The Mad Max open world game was so good. The only criticism I have is that once you've done everything, there isn't much to do except like wander around. But I don't personally need games to have a bunch of like end game content. Like, I'm okay with playing a game to the end and then just being done with it. So, but yeah, so they were the guys behind Mad Max and Just Cause, and I thought those were very original games. I know there's other titles under their belt, but anyway. So what could have been the cause? Well, I mean, we don't know for sure, but this might be part of the problem. So Avalanche Studios Group is all about that DEI, that didn't earn it. And they have a statement on their website about it. At Avalanche Studios Group, we are committed to developing a diverse and inclusive workplace. We are an equal opportunity employer and value diversity at our company. Those things, by the way, those are mutually exclusive ideas. We are an equal opportunity employer and value diversity at our company. You can't have both of those. You're either someone who is equal opportunity, but more importantly is merit-based, or you value diversity. You can't value both of those things at the same time. Everyone at Avalanche Studios Group has a shared responsibility to create an open and inclusive work environment where everyone is treated equally and with respect. Again, this is just corporate speak. It's very safe. It doesn't really mean anything. Like, no one is against creating an open and inclusive work environment. Literally nobody. So when you say we do this, you're just virtue signaling an empty statement. Being part of our world is not contingent on where you're from, your gender. By the way, I'm just going to put this out there. Don't use the word gender. Just say sex. If people use the word gender, they're using made up terminology. This is made up by these like queer theorists and gender ideologues. They're trying to essentially change the language around sex. Just say sex, okay? Or sexual orientation. It's all about your passion and creativity. What DEI means to us. In 2019, we made Become Leaders Within Sustainability and Inclusivity one of Avalanche's key objectives. As an important step on this journey, diversity, equity, and inclusion is given more focus as an integrated part of our business, allowing for a continuous product and culture evolution. We believe that it's important to define DEI to ensure that all Avalanchers are aligned in what we mean and what our common actions aspire to. Diversity. We embrace a broad range of experiences and perspectives as the foundation of our creativity and culture. Now, on face, that doesn't sound bad, really, because they are saying experiences and perspectives, but that's not really how it plays out in practice, right? It just comes down to skin color and, where you like to put your PP. And that basically is all it is. Like, that's what it is. Equity, we acknowledge our seen and unseen differences and create equitable opportunities for all avalanchers. Again, equity means equality of outcome, not equality of opportunity, which is sort of a non-starter because personally, I don't believe in equality of opportunity either. I think they're both bullshit. People are different, and that's just the way it is, and we have to be okay with it. So, and equitable opportunities doesn't make sense. It's like a nonsense statement. Inclusion, we amplify our strengths by ensuring that all Avalanche's contributions are heard and valued. Again, it seems kind of it's sort of like redundant because diversity and inclusion are basically the same thing in a lot of ways. It's just about like how you let in the diversity. I don't know why I got a little southern there for a second. I've been in Virginia too long. So, I don't want to get into the whole thing about this, but I just wanted to point out that I'm pretty sure that Avalanche Studios group is gone because of DEI. It probably, hurt their bottom line. It probably caused problems within the company. They got people fired that probably should have stayed there, but because they were white men, they couldn't. Whatever it was, right? So my guess, not really. That's probably part of the problem. Maybe I'm wrong. You let me know in the comments. But that was the first story I wanted to cover. So let's go to the next one. So speaking of dogs, this comes from Kotaku. This is archived. I will put a link to the archive links in the description of this video after the stream is over. Former World of Warcraft developers start studio where only female staffer is a dog. I want to go to Grums, who used to work for Blizzard. He was involved with the development of let me pause this for a second. He was involved with the development of Diablo, I think, or StarCraft and World of Warcraft. It was one of those. I know he was involved with World of Warcraft, but I think he was also involved with like a Diablo game or StarCraft. But anyway, so we have these guys that used to work for Blizzard. Okay, now if you don't remember, but shortly after Activision bought Blizzard, this was like a while ago. Okay, shortly after Activision bought Blizzard, there were a bunch of allegations that came out from women that worked in the company. And they were talking about how it was a toxic frat boy atmosphere and that something needed to change. And then suddenly a bunch of people got fired. And I imagine that a lot of the guys who got fired are some of the guys that made up this new development, this studio called, I think it's called wait, hold on. I was just sharing it here. Yeah, this new studio, Notorious Studios, Notorious. Okay. So you have the guys that used to work at Blizzard, probably now working at Notorious, and they're working on a new game. And according to Grums, it looks really good. Now, I haven't seen the trailer for this, so I thought we would take a look. So let's take a look at this trailer for Legacy, Steel, and Sorcery. All right, it looks like that's it. Yeah, it looks good. I mean, it reminds me of Kingdoms of Alamar. I don't know if you guys ever heard of that game. It was like the one designed by, I think it was Todd McFarlane did the artwork for it, or he did a lot of the design for it. So let me play the go back to this. Practice says, I like that. My dog is a female. She is the best. Except she's terrified of thunder and literally broke foot of the house and ran away one day when I was running errands. A lot of people, yeah, let me luckily a good dude found her and I was contacted to come get her before I was even gone. Looks fun. Yeah, it looks good. I mean, I see a competitive, like a PvP and a PvE aspect. I guess we'll see. It's a little too early to tell what the game is gonna be like, but I appreciate the art style a lot. I think it does look really promising. Again, don't know for sure. I guess we'll see. So anyway, so Kotaku, like, we could be talking about the game that this new developer is putting out. We could be excited for like what the potential of this title is, but Kotaku's concerned that there aren't enough women on the staff. So this is the Kotaku article. It's going to be cringe. And by the way, I thought these people were going to focus on like game guides. What the hell happened with that? But anyway, this is from October of 2021, so it's kind of old. But you can see that where their priorities are. Ex-Blizzard developers who started Notorious Studios seem to have exactly 0 women on their development team. The staff page shows 9 developers and 2 advisors, all of which are men, and 1 canine chief morale officer named Ellie, which means that the studio has more dogs than women. Yikes. Yikes. Yeah, Kotaku. Continue to cope and seethe, as usual. So yeah, just more cringe from these guys. And then we got some news regarding a new Dragon Age game. So I played the first Dragon Age game. Frankly, I didn't see the big deal. I didn't see what all the hype was about. I thought that the romancing, I never thought that was like a really important part of gameplay, in my opinion. I feel like there's a bit of like, you know, weird Kumarism going on there, and it just doesn't work that well. Like I remember there should be like different kinds of benefits, I'll put it that way. So for example, in some Japanese games, they might have like a friendship system where you can like buy gifts for some of the people in your role-playing group, and you'll gain favor with them. And if you gain enough favor, they might like use, you know, or gain other abilities. Like it would change their mechanics a little bit. I also remember, I think it was Onimusha. So I'm going a little, you know, into a bit of obscure territory if you're like not an old head like me that played the Onimusha games. But I think there were at least 1 or 2 Onimushas where you would have friends and you can buy them things. And it wasn't necessarily romantic. It was like, you know, this person likes fish, and if you buy them fish, then, you know, your relationship with them will increase, and that will actually either give you more abilities or it'll give them stat boosts or something like that. So there was a mechanic, you know, outcome, and I'm sure a lot of other games have that. If you guys know of any games that has that, that's cool. But like with Dragon Age, I didn't really see, like, I wasn't all that thrilled with romancing characters. I mean, I did it because it was like, why not? It's there, you know. I remember romancing, like I already said this yesterday when I was playing Baldur's Gate 3, I romanced Leliana because I made a male character, I made a wizard, and so I didn't have Morgan in my party much because I didn't need another wizard in my party. Because, you know, I play video games for the mechanics, not for the gooning. And turned out that Morrigan was like down to, like, you know, make out whenever. So I was like, okay, but it doesn't do anything, right? And I didn't really, I don't know, I just didn't care for the writing. I didn't really care for the setting much. Like Dragon Age didn't blow my skirt up. So I didn't play the second one or the third one, but there is another one coming out, and it seems like now, and maybe this is like a byproduct of other games that have romance options, like Mass Effect. I think in one of the or some of the Elder Scrolls games, you can like marry somebody, and I know that they're doing more and more of that stuff. But like, it just seems like that becomes like a central feature, especially if you're like one of these woke lefties, because they're constantly like, they're coon brain, like they're thinking about like sex with fictional monsters all the time. Like that's why Baldur's Gate 3, by the way, gets celebrated, because it has like all this, like it's the kind of sexualized content that they like, as opposed to like something that's, you know, like not even sexual, but just kind of like fan servicey, like Senran Kagura or Galgun, or what's another one that's like that's sort of like that. Yeah, like anything that has, you know, like Nikke. I think there's a, is it Nikke, Goddess of Victory, is like kind of a big triggering game right now, or any gacha games where you just like collect waifus. Like they don't like any of that, even though those are not explicitly sexual in most cases. They're not hentai, right? They're just kind of fan servicey, but they're okay with it when it's their kind of sexual stuff, when it's like, you know, interspecies sex and like just weird shit, and they love it in everything, and they think it's an important feature. So Kotaku is writing about Dragon Age the Veilguard. Now, I don't know anything about the story. I haven't heard anything about the mechanics. I haven't heard anything about how the game is going to be fun. They're just talking about the romance options. Like, what is up with that, guys? I played all of them. They made Cassandra so fugly. Who's Cassandra? I only played the first game. I only know about the bard chick, or remember, because I don't remember much about the game. I remember the bard chick and Morgan. And because I made a male character, I think like the elf was hitting on me a lot, and I was like, no thanks. Anita Sarkeesian is not going to like this. Yeah, right. Art4 says, have 5 devs re-identify for the interview, problem solved. I know, right? Just re-identify as something else. Neat Scholar says that studio should hire more trees so men feel safe talking about their feelings at work. They probably have trees. Well, you know, dogs are good for that. Dogs are great for listening. My dog was, right, Jojo? His eye just opened. You can't see it, but he was like, what do you want? Let me just try to put him on the screen. He always has to do this. I don't know why Jojo likes his head on the, like, not on the soft parts. He's a weird dog. Anyway, so this is Kotaku. Dragon Age the Veilguard will bring Black DAII, I don't know what that is, Black DAII's divisive approach to romance. The 4th game in BioWare's fantasy RPG series will allow you to woo whoever you want. Dragon Age 2 is a big centerpiece in conversations around video game romance. Where are these conversations happening? This is woman shit, by the way. This is woman shit. The 2011 BioWare RPG lets players pursue whoever they wanted, regardless of what gender player character they chose. Again, with the word gender instead of sex. With Inquisition, BioWare opted to define your party's identities, which meant not every love story was accessible to anyone. While both games' approaches were met with a mix of praise and criticism, it seems BioWare is going back to Dragon Age 2's approach with the upcoming Dragon Age the Veilguard, formerly Dragon Age Dreadwolf. In an interview with IGN, BioWare GM Gary McKay was explaining why the team decided to change the game's title from Dreadwolf to Veilguard, saying this was to bring attention back to the protagonist's party rather than focusing on antagonist Solas, the aforementioned Dreadwolf. McKay also talked about the importance of player agency. This included building relationships with your companions. He told IGN, yes, you can romance the companions you want, so it sounds like there will be no restrictions based on your character's gender or race, again with the word gender. So I guess they feel like it's okay to essentially, like, they're calling it freedom, but they're not really about that if the person that they want to romance they don't approve of. For example, people have talked about how they wanted to be able to romance Judy from Cyberpunk 2077 as a male V, but you can't, because Judy only can be romanced by other women, and the other character, what's her name, Panem, she can be romanced by men. And then they have like 2 male characters that are the inversion of that, right? So they have like 1 gay option, 1 straight option for both male and female in Cyberpunk. But because people were like, well, why can't I, romance Judy? There were all these pieces written about like essentially male players wanting to take away women's sexual preferences by wanting to romance them. It was, and we're talking about a video game character, by the way. So yeah, super weird. Boda says, I played as an elf mage. They gave you the option romance Solas, but only as a female character, and he removes your face tattoo. Everyone's a queer. Yeah. So anyway, what I think is going, this is just like woman shit, and I'll get into that a little bit later, maybe. We spent a lot of time making our companions feel authentic based on their own unique experiences within this larger fantasy world, which in turn makes the relationships you form with them feel even more meaningful, McKay said. We've tapped into Dragon Age's deep lore and explored its most iconic factions to bring each of the 7 companions and their stories to life. Yeah. Let me see. I want to go with the romance options. Okay, here we go. BioWare will likely introduce at least some of the characters when the studio releases 15 minutes of Dragon Age: The Veilguard footage on June 11th, which is like about Tuesday, I think, of next week. So we'll all get a chance to start looking for our next bow. So cringe, guys. But bringing back Dragon Age 2's free-for-all structure will be a divisive inclusion. As a gay man who sometimes feels like I lack romance option in BioWare's games, I don't even like Zevran in Dragon Age Origins, but he was the only man I could kiss. I'm always happy to hear that everyone, especially queer folks who often get shortchanged, will get an equal slice of the pie. But Inquisition's defined identities brought a lot of characters like Dorian, whose story dealt with his identity as a gay man in the Dragon Age universe, informed the dynamics of your relationship, and told us new things about in the process. Ultimately, you lose and gain something in either approach, and it's in the eye of the beholder about what makes or what takes priority. So I'm not going to read any more of this article, except that you got to like, oh, this is the end of the article anyways. Like, can like relationship mechanics that go this deep be limited to just dating simulators? Like, I just feel like this is like they're just like, this whole article didn't say anything about the mechanics at all. I don't really care about the story. Because I'm not like into it. I don't know why there's so much excitement around the Dragon Age lore. Maybe it's better than I understand, but I don't think it holds a candle to Dark Souls lore anyway. So Zarek says Judy has male inclined dialogue, if I'm not mistaken. Also a shame Panem is basically a brat most of the time. She's decent otherwise. Yeah, I understand that originally, and this is the thing I wanted to mention this when I was doing the stream yesterday. I was talking about Baldur's Gate 3, but I did talk a little bit about Cyberpunk 2077. One of the things that I learned is that there is heterosexual romantic content for Judy in the game, but they didn't release it. They didn't put it in the game. They didn't make it available. So they literally took it out of the game because they wanted a purely lesbian option. And I believe somebody made like a mod or something. I don't know if it restored it, but they made a mod that allows men to romance Judy, and I think that mod may have gotten banned on Nexus mods too. So this is what I'm saying, like, they don't really believe that like romance options for them are not optional. They have like a certain way they want it done, and they want to eliminate essentially the choices of heterosexual men. So I think that this is all like a lie. I mean, like, they don't really believe what they're saying. So, and yeah, the thing I was gonna mention this about Baldur's Gate 3. Another thing that kind of pisses me off is that why doesn't Baldur's Gate 3 have sliders for character creation? Why doesn't it have customizable faces in the same way that Fallout 4 had, or the way that the Souls series, even though the Souls characters can be a little homely, like they've gotten better, like, because they, like, if you look at Demon Souls, like the the characters are ugly as fuck, but like you can make a character however you want with the tools that are available. But even though Baldur's Gate 3 is like literally cutting edge, you have more options for how much vitiligo you have than your face design. And like I kind of know why, because it's like I said yesterday when I was streaming Baldur's Gate 3, it's like they want to have their cake and eat it too. Like they want to do a little bit of this diversity stuff, but they also want people to be able to not see it as too woke. But it falls flat, you know? Like, I don't know, I like the game, but I think that they missed the mark on some things that just don't make sense. Boda says someone should make a mod using AI so you can romance Judy as a male character. Is Judy the most attentive NPC? I bet she is. Yeah, well, Judy is one that she seems like a sweetheart. I haven't romanced Judy. I played. Allison's trying to. Who the hell is this? No, I can't talk to you right now. Somebody's trying to call me. Yeah, I can't talk. Sorry about that. Judy is like she is a sweet character. The first time I played Cyberpunk, I played as a female character. I did not end up romancing her, but I did become like a close friend of hers, and I became a close friend of what's her name, Panem as well. I actually ended up, I think I got the Nomad ending with that one, so I left with the Nomad pack. And I'm playing as a male character, and the thing about Panem is that she's the only heterosexual female option that I know of. I had the DLC. I don't know if they added another one, but of like the main game, the base game, Panem is the only heterosexual option, and she is like a good option. Like she's hot, like they don't make her ugly or whatever. But like she's not a nice person. Like she's kind of like, she's a brat, like Zerang said. She's a brat, and if you don't like simp for her all the way through, then you don't get to be with her. So it's like the people who wrote that person, it's like they don't understand women. Like they didn't write a good female character that's heterosexual. So, oh, I meant attractive. Yeah, no, Judy and everybody in Cyberpunk is pretty attractive, actually. I mean, you would, if you live in a future where, you know, you can like look like however you want with surgery, then you would assume that most people would look good. So they all do. But anyway, so yeah, they're kind of pissed about this Veilguard thing. Well, not pissed, like they're saying that I guess the number one great thing about this is that you can romance wherever you want. Again, tell me about the game, please. Like these people's priorities, man. It's very revealing. It's very revealing. All right, so let's move on. I don't want this stream to be super long. I just want to cover a few things. So we got this video from Star Wars Theory. Now, I don't watch a lot of this guy. I know he's a big Star Wars fan. He's like probably one of the biggest Star Wars fans on YouTube, okay? But it is so painful to watch him like watch Star Wars die before his eyes, and he still wants to like rationalize everything. This is like serious cope, and I just think it's kind of sad. So we're gonna look at this video where he tries to rationalize what it is that, or at least like argue from a reasoned position against, you know, what it is that the people say in this Acolyte interview clip that he's looking at. But first, let me look at your comments really quick. Let me see if I got any Super Chows or Rumble rants or whatever. Nope. Zarek says, I forgot about Dragon Age Inquisition. I bought it, but I couldn't continue with it. Part of why I like Baldur's Gate 3 is I can attack with a staff as a mage. I hate how magic users are rendered inept in combat. Yeah, I didn't. Well, in Dragon Age, yeah. And also, like, why is it all of the mage costume parts look ugly as fuck? Like, I did not like the way my character looked, despite everything I was trying to do. Like, when they make custom costume parts, you have to be really good at that. Like, Dark Souls is pretty good about that. Some of the stuff looks ugly, but like a lot of the armor sets are very cool looking. Bloodborne is really good at that. But like, why do the Dragon Age armor sets look so shit? I'm sorry, or like at least for mages, you know. Anyway, Boda says Dragon Age is a different game. It's like comparing the Elder Scrolls to Souls games. Dragon Age is more like Baldur's Gate. Yeah, but in Baldur's Gate, again, the romance. Are you talking about with regards to the romancing options? Because like my thing is, maybe you like Baldur's Gate or Dragon Age. Maybe you do. It's fine. I played it once. I just didn't get into it. I like fantasy RPGs, but I think that Western RPGs often suffer from poor art design, and this is like an issue. I think that Baldur's Gate 3 has better than average art design or art direction in terms of like for a Western RPG, but it still has a long way to go. And I think that this kind of ideological DEI slant that they have, and I know that they do. I know that the guys at Larian, you know, while they did prioritize the experience of the game itself above all else, you can tell by how they, you know, did character creation, how they framed the morality of like the, you know, all of the creatures in the game. They're sort of, you know, flirting with kind of moral relativism like pretty seriously, and a lot of this thing with like female warriors. There's like a ridiculously disproportionate number of female warriors and champions, and I'm just not buying it. Like you're not selling it to me. So Boda says there's a female character in Skyrim called Serana. Everyone wanted a romance option, but they never released it. Makes me wonder, why is it an agenda? I don't know. I never played Skyrim. That's the thing. Like, if you're gonna put this in the game, it should probably just be most characters. I mean, even if it's like a simplified system, you know, maybe for some it's easier, you know. But yeah, I don't know. Anyway, so let's look at this video from Star Wars Theory, and he's gonna be talking, and I'll give you my thoughts on it. Okay, so I'm gonna pause my music here, and let's listen to this.
Because nerds are gay.
Well, some nerds are very not gay and are very threatened by gay
Well, that's
stuff.
true, but in my world, nerds are gay.
Okay.
Is that too low? This is kind of low. I don't know how I can like bump this up. Can you guys hear that okay? It's a little bit low. Go back. Have you seen the Archcast video about Emma Nora Fries? No, I don't know who that is. No, I have not. Let me know if you guys can hear that okay. Is that too low? I may have to like listen to it and then like read it back to you guys, you know? Yes, too low. Okay. So here's what I'll do. Let me listen to it. I can't raise it up. It's just like the volume of the video. And then I'll just tell you what's being said.
Because nerds are gay.
Well,
So this woman here said, because nerds are gay. That's where the article, the interview starts, okay? With this clip. So she's saying that nerds are just gay. I didn't know that.
Well, some nerds are very not gay and are very...
And this guy says, some nerds, this interviewer who's also gay, I think everyone on this panel is gay, is saying some nerds are very not gay.
Threatened by gay
Well,
And threatened by it. So if you're not gay, you're clearly threatened by gayness. By the way, is it a coincidence or not that The Acolyte was released during Pride Month? Is that am I being conspiratorial?
not gay and are very threatened by gay
Well, that's
stuff.
true, but in my world, nerds are gay.
I don't think nerds are threatened about gay stuff. I mean, those are just homophobes. I don't know why he's creating enemies and saying bullshit. Nerds don't care if someone is gay. Nerds don't care who you love. Nerds just want cool nerd shit, like a well-written story. That's all we care about. I don't care who you love. You're a human at the end of the day, and so am I, and that's all that fucking matters. Oh, God. People who don't like gay people are homophobes. Those are assholes. Nerds just want cool shit. We just want cool stories.
See, well, I'm gonna play the rest of this, but can you guys hear that okay? Because he's a lot louder than the clip. Fracus Maximus says it bugged me that in Far Cry 4 they had female fighters on the good side, but none on the bad side. Far Cry 5 they had a few on the bad side. Didn't play Far Cry 6 yet. Art4 says, why would a secure het man be threatened by gays? They're like the best friends possible. No idea. All right, let's go back a little bit.
Matters. Oh, God. People who don't like gay people are homophobes. Those are assholes. Nerds just want cool shit. We just want cool stories. We also don't need your sexual preference shoved in our face nonstop. I don't need to know you're straight. I don't care. I don't need to know you're gay. I don't care. Just tell me a good story. The rest is irrelevant.
And are you telling me with a straight face that C-3PO is straight?
No, he's not telling you with a straight face. He's telling you with a gay face. Yeah, so this is his video, so he's playing them at a lower volume. Star Wars Theory, he's playing them at a lower volume. So
With a straight face that C-3PO is straight.
They're a couple. That's what I think. But this is more outward.
I think it's canon that R2-D2 is a lesbian.
Oh,
Ooh.
interesting.
Yeah.
I thought R2 was a guy. There goes all my canon knowledge. God, when did they drop this nugget of info?
So here's the thing. First of all, I'm sorry that you're still even giving a fuck about what's going on with Star Wars. Like, that shit's been dead since like The Force Awakens came out. But let's set that aside, because I know that there are people who just cannot let go of their brand. They cannot say, you know what, it's okay. There are only 3 Indiana Jones movies. That's fine, right? The Marvel Cinematic Universe ended with like No Way Home, and there's nothing after that. Like, whatever it is, right? Whatever your, like, the last Doctor was fucking, you know, Matt Smith. Like, that was the end, you know? or when John Hurt played, you know, the War Doctor. Like, that was the last Doctor. There was nothing after that, right? If you can't do that, I have a lot of pity. I understand your pain, but you got to let it go, man. You got to let it go. For one, got to let it go. But setting that aside, what he's trying to do, what Star Wars Theory is trying to do, is say, nerds aren't homophobes. Homophobes are homophobes. Homophobes bad. Nerds not bad. Nerds not homophobes. But what he doesn't seem to get is these cunts that are talking here, they're telling you that you're a homophobe if you don't watch their show, no matter what you think about the content. They don't care what you believe. They are telling you what you are. You know, like, these people, they believe that what they like, that they are always right and they are always morally superior. Okay. When you are convinced you are morally superior, you can say whatever you want about people who you deem as your inferior, and their like rationalization, them saying, well, let me explain to you exactly why nerds are not homophobes. Like, that is a useless gesture. It's not even, it's like, it's less than virtue signaling, because normal people with like well-adjusted psyches know that what she's saying is not true. You don't have to convince them. You don't have to tell them, hey, by the way, you know, I'm not racist, you know, because I didn't care for the sequel trilogy, or whatever the accusation is. That is not useful. You have to stop. Like, you have to understand, when these people make these jabs, they're just saying they hate you. They hate you because you're a fan. They hate you because you're male. They hate you because they perceive you as white adjacent, if not straight up white. They're just participating in the collective moral high ground. Like, they're on their high horse and they're looking down on you, and they're telling you, if you don't watch my show, if you don't like what I'm putting out there, if you don't like that I'm saying that a droid is gay, then, you know, it's a you problem, because I'm on the right side of history. And they don't like, I mean, I get it. Like, I get it. You know, it's hurtful when people accuse you of being a bigot, but you're going to get to a point. And this is where I hope people get. Okay. I honestly hope this. You're going to get to a point where you're going to realize that it's okay to be a bigot. Like, like, that's, you know what I mean? Like, it's okay, because they're using this as a bludgeon on you to control your behavior. So as soon as you understand, oh, you know what? I'm allowed to feel whatever I want about anybody I want, and it doesn't matter, because it's not about how I feel towards someone, it's about how I treat them, right? When you realize that, all of this goes away. All of this. Homophobes are assholes. Nerds just want cool nerd stuff. Yeah, but she is calling you a homophobe because you have standards. It's like that's it. It's got nothing to do with what you think about gay people, okay? I had a hater. I've been getting haters on my videos lately. And I had a hater. I'm going to come back to that in a second. But I had a hater that said something about like, why are you going after queer people or whatever? That and when I made a video explaining that queerness is not homosexuality. And it's like these people don't get it, you know? It really isn't. I don't know if you guys understand this, but queerness is an ideology. It is a kind of activism. It is not what you are, okay? So let me see if I can find the comment that somebody made. Let me see. So it was from a little while ago. So I'm just looking to see because I thought it was great. Oh yeah, here we go. No, that's not the one. But yeah, somebody tried to imply that, and this is the thing, like it shows like how these language wars work. So when you hear the word queer being uttered by an activist, you have to ask yourself whether they know what the word means in the terms of how it's been defined by the woke academics, or if it's simply a synonym for gay. And when I hear the word queer, I'm going to treat it like it's the activist term. What it means to be, this is why the Q is separate from LGBT, okay? Because the Q represents an activist position, not a sexual orientation, not a preference, not an identity. It is essentially, well, it is not essential because it is an identity without an essence, which means it is not essential, which means it is an activist position. It is basically simply the act of going against everything that is normal. Whatever is considered hegemonic, whatever is considered normal, whatever is considered bog standard, if you go against it and you're calling yourself queer, that is what the identity means. It has nothing to do with sexuality, nothing. So when people say that, they're either lying to you when they try to say, oh, well, are you suggesting that you're a homophobe because you have a problem with queerness? They're either lying because they know that it has nothing to do with sexuality, or they're stupid and they don't know that they've fallen into the language trap. And a lot of people are stupid. A lot of people have fallen into the language trap. So when they hear queer, they think that's why, by the way, this returned into the lexicon, because it used to be used a while back, and we used to consider it a slur, when you say somebody is a queer, like the drill sergeant from Full Metal Jacket, right? Steers and queers, right? But it doesn't mean that anymore. It disappeared for a while, and now it's back, and it's like a badge of honor that these activists wear. And it's a way for them to differentiate themselves from everybody else. So it has nothing to do with sexuality. So when the people who make this show, and I remember the old clip of the Black woman that was in a meeting at Disney, and she was saying, I'm going to inject queerness wherever I can, find it or whatever, in whatever ways I'm able. Like, she was proud and smiling about it. Like, that is an activist that is saying, I'm going to use this to subvert the entire film industry, or at least Disney, and I'm going to have help because everyone is behind her. So it's not like she's just the only person. And so Leslie Headland, who is the woman that's behind this new show, she is using this as a vehicle to essentially satisfy her own ego. It's not even about the message. It's about tearing it all down, which I've already talked about in many videos. It's about turning a triple A, you know, film industry giant like Disney, which was like the biggest thing, right? Built by Walt, who was very suspicious of communist infiltration, made a lot of videos about it, and it's about tearing it all down. Like they're just going to burn it to the ground, and I don't know if the stockholders know. You know, I don't know if they're going to figure this out. Some of them do, but they're not really able to stop it, and it's just going to continue, and they're just going to let it happen. And it's partly to just tear it down because they are, at the end of the day, resentful and envious and petty and, you know, bitter and angry, and also they are narcissists that love to see themselves represented, which is why, as I understand it, I think Leslie Headland and her wife, they're both in the show. So, you know, and that's why most of this stuff, all this DEI stuff, all this Sweet Baby Inc. stuff, it always comes down to like self-inserts, because these people are this self-centered. They are this narcissistic. So shout out to Star Wars Theory. I'm sorry, man, but like you don't understand how much hatred and bitterness are in the hearts of these people that are destroying our cultural icons. And by the way, one of the reasons why is that it was supported and built and enjoyed by men. It's one of the primary reasons. So anyway, let me look at your comments. We're gonna move on to the next story. It's a little bit related, the next one, but let me see. Art Force says they aren't always right, they're always left. Let me see. Zarang says, I use ChatGPT to come up with a spiritual successor to Star Wars, and including Gray Jedi. My aim is to position them like the right and the left are on the spectrum. Their fight focuses on who's more pure, which shows them as being more dangerous than people who want to be left alone. Want a proper philosophy to ground the mythos, though. Need to learn philosophy. Art Force says, I am a homophobe. And that's okay. It's okay. Like, if you have prejudices, it's okay. This is what I'm saying. And the reason why I say it's okay is because everyone has them. So like when people are saying, oh, we're gonna fight against prejudice, they don't really mean that. Okay. They don't really mean that, because what they want is to control your preferences. You know what I'm saying? They are not against prejudice. Because they just want you to not have preferences. Everyone has prejudice. Every day you are prejudiced in some way. When you choose between whether or not you're going to go out or stay in, when you choose who you're going to hang out with, when you choose what YouTube channel you're going to watch that day, when you choose what song you're going to listen to, you are being prejudiced. Prejudice is okay. Okay? There's nothing wrong with it. It really comes down to what is actual harm. That's where we will have a conversation. So, all right. So speaking of Leslie Headland once says that she wants to make a live action Knights of the Old Republic project. Uh-oh. So if you guys were into Knights of the Old Republic, and again, I have to say, it's not just about letting go of Star Wars as a series of future products. It's about letting go of Star Wars as a brand, full stop. Like, if you already own like the original trilogy, the sequel trilogy, maybe some of the early TV shows that you liked, maybe some of the expanded universe novels, you're fine. Just pretend like nothing else exists. If you liked Knights of the Old Republic, I know that was a very popular role-playing game. It was a very popular role-playing game. If you liked it and you still own it, then congratulations, you're good. She wants to remake it, and you know what? I will bet you dollars to donuts they're gonna give her the ability to do that. She is going to do it. So, Archcast, how far we have fallen. It's about how they destroyed Mr. Freeze's character. Oh yeah, I covered the Mr. Freeze thing, I think, either earlier this week or last week when it happened. Yeah, Mrs. Freeze. So anyway, so let me know what you guys think about this. Did you play Knights of the Old Republic? What are your thoughts? Of course, I opened the link to this and I think it was in another language. Let me see. Curiosity. I think it was in another language. Yeah, it's in a different language. So I couldn't really look at it. But RIP Knights of the Old Republic is all I'll say to that. So, all right. Let me see. Empty Soul 01, what's up? Says, very dumb for them to say that out loud because we can use it against them in the future when the tide is turning. Welcome to the show, Empty Soul. Be sure to give this stream a like. I'm gonna be wrapping it up here in a little bit. I got one more story, and then I got to get ready for my show later today. So, Art Force. Oh, okay, Art Force. Sorry for mispronouncing it. Let me see. I did get a couple of Twitch. No, that's the bot. The bot is talking on Twitch, and it's the only person on Twitch. So I don't know. Zering says, I was there when it was decided the exile was female. It was a vote option on Obsidian's forums. What do you mean by, are you referring to Knights of the Republic? I never played it. So all right, let's move on to the last story. Sad, unfortunate, but true. So Gainax, the anime studio behind iconic series like Evangelion, Gurren Lagann, and more, has declared bankruptcy. That's the end of that. So I don't know if you guys were, Gainax was great. There is a spiritual successor to Gainax. A lot of the people who left it, I think they mentioned it in the chat here. But yeah, there's another studio that kind of like that had a lot of the people who used to work at Gainax that came out of it. So maybe they will pick up the torch and continue, but it is a shame. Corella is too complex of a Star Wars character for woke people to understand. Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't think they care. I don't think they're interested in doing the properties justice. I think they're just interested in destroying things, and that's all it is. I mean, so one last thing I want to talk about before I wrap it up here. There was somebody sent me a video from a YouTube channel called Better Bachelor. Now, Better Bachelor doesn't normally talk about gaming and stuff like that. He normally talks about like things like, dating and relationship between men and women. He's a MGTOW guy, but his content is generally popular. He's very like chill. I think he lives in he's living the van life maybe. I think it's pretty cool, or something. I can't remember, but he's sort of like off-grid kind of guy. Zoe says, yes, Obsidian Entertainment took over from BioWare and made KOTOR 2, which I think is superior to the first game. It's because of our discussion there that the exile was decidedly female. Everything about the character felt like she couldn't be male. All right. So the Better Bachelor made a video, and he was essentially explaining that what happened to Star Wars and what's happening in gaming and what's happening in Dungeons and Dragons and all of our hobbies is something that we deserve. We deserve it because we didn't gatekeep hard enough. And I tried to, I've been trying to explain this for a while. That's why I said prejudice is okay. And I think that it's a manipulation to that, it gets thrown in your face that you shouldn't be prejudiced. Because these people are prejudiced and they don't hold themselves to the same standards. I can't find your video about Mr. Freeze. Was it titled? No, it was a section in another video I did. I talked about some other stuff. I'll find you the name. Hold on a second. I'll find the stream. Okay. Give me a second here. I know it was a live stream. I'll give you the title. It might have been the last live stream, not yesterday's. Testing Rumble Studio while playing, maybe some news. Yeah, I think it was that, or Bridge. Yeah, it was Sony State of Play. I think it was in that one. So this is like, it's called the Week in Culture live stream project 2025 Bridge, Sony State of Play, etc. That's the one. I talked about it a little bit there, I think. But anyway, so yeah, he was talking about that, and here's the thing. And Mr. 0303 was like one of the guys in my Discord. He sent me a message. Want to like go to the comment. I'll give you guys a bit of a look into what. So yeah, I shared his video, Better Bachelor's video, called "We Lose Because We're Nice," and on the thumbnail it says, "We deserve this for not gatekeeping." And I said, I've been saying this for years. What do you guys think? And Mr. 0303, who might be watching right now, he said, having listened to it now, you have been saying this for years. A lot of people have this mentality that they want their hobbies validated by parents. These are, when he says people, we're talking about men. Let's be real. A lot of men have this mentality that they want their hobby validated by parents, friends, and in the worst case, women. This need for validation is paralyzing prudence, which in turn lets everybody in. And I did a video a while back called The 5 Phases or the 5 Steps of Woke Entryism. Okay? And woke entryism is how these people take over our hobbies and destroy them, because they know that geeks and nerds and people in general, they don't want to exclude anyone. They don't want people to feel left out, so they often invite them in. And that's how they get in. So this is something that we have to be discerning about, okay? And I don't know if you guys know the difference between niceness and goodness, because I would never say, and this goes back to like the reason why I got involved in doing content in the first place. I was working on a comic book in 2010 or 2009 called Good Guy. And I pissed off some feminists in my college with the title because they thought that I was talking about nice guy, the nice guy, right? And feminists hate the nice guy. They attack it brutally. They think that it's, you know, a way for men to like, you know, get close to women so that they can take advantage of them or whatever their crazy fantasies are. But I was not talking about that at all. I was trying to discern or define the difference between niceness and goodness, okay? And I think this is a mistake that a lot of people make. And this is important for us to understand. So niceness is something that you might do for someone to make them feel good or gain favor with them, but you may not genuinely mean it. You might feel as though you are, for whatever reason, obligated to it, but it is not something that you're doing that is good. For example, a nice person might tell a fat girl that she isn't fat, and the fat girl would want like validation for her weight. That's where the body positivity movement comes from. It comes from this idea that you can't judge anyone for their life choices, right? So if you're being nice to someone who is overweight or overeats, or if you're being nice to someone who is really promiscuous, they sleep around a lot, maybe they get involved in orgies, or whatever, you might say, well, you know what? It's your lifestyle. It's okay. It's not hurting anybody. Like somebody who drinks, somebody who gambles, somebody who does drugs. You might say, well, it's okay. Like, you know, I'm not going to judge you, whatever. Right. And that would be being nice to them, but it isn't really helping them. To help them, you have to be good to them. If you're good to them, you say with compassion, you need to stop eating. You need to go to the gym. You need to spend less money. You need to go get a job, right? Like these are not things people want to hear, but they're things that people need to hear. That and it's actually a lot more courageous to be good to people and tell them what they have to hear than it is to be nice to them. So I've been like wrestling with how do you gatekeep and you know you're doing it like, because you have to be very discerning. So I think that there are ways to, like, you have to test people. And this is something that they try to get, they try to criticize you for as well, right? They'll be like, oh, you know, I remember these old feminist talking points about, you know, like a girl, they would be like, I went to a comic book store and the comic book guys there were quizzing me on my character knowledge or my understanding. And I was so offended that they would think that I don't know comic books, right? But that is their response to what is natural, which is to be like, are you legit or are you full of shit? Right? I don't see there's a problem with that. And that's the thing. We have allowed ourselves to be softly bullied into not challenging people's understanding or their credentials, right? Like if I walk into I don't know, like let's say I ask I get a job someplace and I haven't told anyone that I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, right? And they start to question my ability when they realize I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I don't get to tell them that they're gatekeeping. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I'm not supposed to be here. It's like, if you go, maybe a job isn't the best example because I'm sure that some spurg is going to tell me that I'm not using the example the right way. But there is like an understanding of like who should be someplace. Like, even if I want to join in some club, you know, and they all play golf and I've never played before. I mean, if they're doing like a tournament or something, like why should I feel like I deserve to be there? And when they accuse you of being entitled, they're projecting. Like SJWs, they always lie, they always project, and they always double down. And once you internalize this and understand this, then you know you're not dealing with people who are good faith actors. You are dealing with control freak narcissists that are probably bipolar. And you have to like learn how to navigate that, and you have to be, and I'm not saying this to be like belittling. I think it takes some courage to tell the truth, and that's what goodness is. To be good is to tell the truth. Okay, it's a deeper commitment to your principles and actions motivated by genuine care for others. Like even if you don't like them, you can tell them, "Look, my brother in Christ, in your own best interest, you don't belong here. And I'm not going to let you like take control of this space." So anyway, Art Force says this feels like such a US view. Being nice does not mean flat out ignoring personal failings. No, I'm saying that there's I don't know if you understand what I mean. But Boda says years ago a YouTuber made a video about nice guys. She said that women don't want nice guys during their youth, but once they're past their prime, that's when they want the nice guy. Boda says fresh for chads and leftovers for the nice guys. No, I mean, I think a nice guy is essentially trying to gain favor, and they think that being nice is how you do it, but it's not genuine. You understand? It's not genuine. It's not what they really feel. And I think being good is better because it's true. You know, I don't think it's a US thing. I think it's just a thing. Like if you're a good guy, then that doesn't mean you're nice to everybody. That means that you're nice to the people who deserve it. How does that sound? Gatekeep always. Yes. Niceness is passivity. That's good. Yes, that's what I mean. To reference niceness, reference Eddie Murphy's thing, okay, regarding how men acquiesce to women. Yeah. All right. So anyway, just wanted to point that out. I think that, like, for example, the Star Wars theory guy, he's trying to be nice in his sort of rebuttal of the way that the folks behind the Acolyte are behaving. And what he's not realizing is that these people do not like him. They hate him. In fact, they hate his guts. And you have to understand that, like, you have to treat them the way that they're treating you. You don't have to be mean to them, but they are not owed your compassion. They are only owed the truth. It's all they deserve. So Boda says, so personally, I don't buy the anti-nice guy excuse. I think it's them refusing to take responsibility for pushing the nice guy away. I call BS. Hi, our Norwegian. All right, but anyway, I'm ending the show there because I got to get ready for later. Thanks for hanging out, and I will see you all soon. Let me know what you guys think about what the topics are. I will put links to everything in the description of the video as soon as I'm done here. So yeah, I got a show later on. So if you guys like this video, please hit like, subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Hit the bell for notifications, leave me a comment. Let me know what you guys think about what we discussed on the show today. And please, please, please share this video because sharing is caring. Thank you so much for hanging out on this week in culture war stream. Till next time.
Men's right activists are machines, dude. Okay? They are literal machines. They are talking point machines. They are impossible to fucking deal with, especially if you have like a couple dudes who have good memory on top of that too. Holy shit, you're fucked.